Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. My name's Eric, and this is the start of something new. It's an idea I had because I love movies, and I love Marvel movies. And if you don't know, Marvel likes to try and trick you with their trailers. So hence the title of Tricky Trailers. And we're going to do the first episode, we'll call it an episode, for this with Avengers Endgame, which I've now seen twice. So I went twice this past weekend, once on opening night and then once on Saturday. So I think I have a good idea of some of the things that Marvel tried to trick us with in their trailers and TV spots leading up to the release of this movie. Before we begin, a couple things. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, follow me on Instagram and Twitter because I post tons of stuff about Disney and Marvel and Star Wars, everything Disney related. I'm actually going to be in Walt Disney World in a week, so you're not going to want to miss out on any kind of content from that as well because I'll be posting stuff to my stories and my feed. So definitely follow me on there. And then this probably goes without saying, but spoiler alerts. I'm not going to go into full spoilers for Endgame, but this will ruin some of the things. So yeah, don't watch this yet. Bookmark it, add it to your watch later list, and then come back because I don't want to spoil it. It's worth seeing this movie without knowing what's going to happen. And like I said, Marvel loves to help make sure that happens for you. So the way this is going to work is we're going to look at the trailers and TV spots, and I've written down some moments in those that are different than what they actually appear in the movies, and I'll expound on them a little bit. So we'll break them down, spend some time there. Again, spoilers, and if I missed any, be sure to leave me a comment below, or if I thought something wasn't in the movie that was, leave me a comment as well, because I'm not perfect. I'm going off of memory here, but I think I've got this locked down as much as possible. All right, so let's get started with the first trailer, and this came out a few months ago, and there's really only two moments from this that aren't actually in the final film. Most of the trailer is actually Tony's monologue from the beginning in the first act, and so that was actually pretty impressive, and a lot of the other clips were too. There's one shot that is, I believe, actually from Infinity War, and that's like Thanos' armor as kind of like a scarecrow. It's like in his yard, if you want to call it that, or his garden. And that shot does not appear in Endgame, though you can see the armor from like a distant shot. But yes, that shot, I believe, is actually from the end of Infinity War. And more importantly, there's a second one. At the very end of the trailer, you see Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man's arrival at Avengers compound. This is the first shot of Marvel's real trickery. Black Widow's hair is not the way it is in the film. So in this shot, her hair is short and blonde. That is how it is at the end of Infinity War and the very beginning of Endgame. But when you jump ahead to 5 years, which is when Scott shows up, then her hair is longer. It has some blonde still in it, but it's mostly red. Now, whether the shot was reshot and the timeline of the story was tweaked a little bit, I'm not sure. Or I do really think that Marvel just might have thrown us in there to throw us off the trail and kind of give us a non sequitur, so we weren't able to tell the exact moments of the film leading up to it. But this shot is not the final product from the film. Next up, we move to a TV spot for the Super Bowl. And so they call this the big game shot. But there are two moments from here, two quick clips that I don't believe actually make the final film. And that is Steve chewing on his lip at his recovery meeting that he leads. And then a shot of Tony and Nebula working to repair the Benatar. Now, both of those moments happen in the film, but I don't believe that these actual shots are in that final film. And they're a little bit different if they are. Okay, so now we're at the big one. And trailer 2 had a lot of moments that were either removed from the final film or used and then not actually making it into the final film. The first up is a little tricky one to me because I don't recognize the voice, but there's this woman's voiceover.
The world has changed. None of us can go back. All we can do is our best. And sometimes the best that we can do is to start over.
I don't know who that is. It sounds like it has an accent, so it makes me want to think it's Wanda, but it doesn't sound like Wanda, aka Scarlet Witch. So that was weird. I'm not sure. It could be Oriyoko. I'm going to mispronounce that, but Danai Gurira's character from Black Panther could be her, but it doesn't really sound like her either. Anyway, that line, as far as I can tell, is not an actual movie. It was recorded just for this trailer. Speaking of lines recorded just for this trailer, Thor's line also is not in the final film, though it might have been cut because it sounds like something they might have just trimmed down that opening before they go to Thanos' scene.
I saw all these people die.
Likewise, Thor with short hair charging himself with lightning, also not in this film. We don't see that. By the time he does it, it's at the end of the film, and if you've seen the film, Thor does not look like that. So He has longer hair, he has a beard, he has about an extra 100 or so pounds. So, yes, that clip is also not from the film. And this one I might be wrong on, but this Nebula charging moment I think is actually from Infinity War, or it's something that got cut. The background does look very similar to the end of Endgame, but I'm not sure. It's not in the film as far as I can tell, because by the time you get to that battle, Nebula just kind of comes in and out, and the one time that she's really there is with Gamora. So, wasn't really sure. I think this is either a cutscene or it actually happened in Infinity War. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you think I'm wrong, right, leave me a comment below. To wrap up some of the voiceover stuff, there's a lot more of the whatever it takes moments from other characters besides Captain America. Check it out.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Now, in the film, they only actually say that line once, and then Cap says it right before they go back in time. So, I think they just wanted to really drive home that hashtag, which is great. It's a great line for the film, but they voiced it over just a couple more times just for the trailer. Now, this scene is actually pretty interesting to me because you actually see it a few times throughout different TV spots and stuff. So it was kind of weird that it never actually made the final cut of the film. But the scene of Nat taking shots at a target, especially with long blonde hair, there's no red in her hair as far as you can tell, never actually makes it into the film. Not sure if this was just probably a deleted scene that they just didn't need and it added some context, but it gives it a good Black Widow moment in the trailer, which is important because this movie does really spend a lot of time focusing on her character, more than I probably expected it to. Finally, let's talk about this last moment, which we see in a lot of the TV spots as well, and that is the team walking. What we now know after you've seen the movie, it's when they're walking in their temporal suits to go in the quantum realm, to go back into time, and people speculated early on there's a couple team members missing, and namely it's Hulk and Thor. And those two team members, if you've seen the movie, you know why they actually cut this a little bit. So it's tricking you into wondering where they are, because if it showed you, then you would know that there's changes to those characters. You know, you'd see Hulk as like the Banner Hulk mesh that we get in the movie, and you'd see Thor in his fat suit. So both those moments would have been spoiled, and hence why whenever you see this scene in any of the TV spots and trailers, they don't show those two characters. Finally, we're left with the overpowered TV spot. And this had a few moments of things that weren't in the final film, like this one.
Yeah, you mean because he killed all our friends?
It's a great line by Rhodey, but he actually never says that in the film. So again, probably just got cut out for time. Doesn't need to be said. Would have been cool because it gives him a really good line. But anyway, that got cut. Then likewise, another Black Widow scene of Nat in the rain. We never actually see this. There were stills even released of it. It's a really pretty scene, but this doesn't make it into the film. And you have to imagine it's when she's being more reflective and wondering what they should do and mourning the loss. You know, they've been 5 years at this point. Finally, and probably most fittingly, is this Thanos voiceover. So check it out.
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
I'm not sure where this would have been, if this would have been the beginning Thanos or the end Thanos, because they're different, right? So you have 2019 Thanos and 2014 Thanos, but it is a great voiceover, so I'm glad it's in the trailer, but I'm not sure where it would have been in the film or if it was just recorded for this. It sounds like it might have just been recorded for this because it does kind of sum up, hey, Thanos is still around, we're not going to show you things because it would spoil them. But it does sum up a little bit about like what his motives are again, and kind of the theme of the movie where they can't let things go. So those are all the things that I found when it comes to Avengers Endgame's trailers, TV spots, and everything they released online leading up to the release of the film. Like I said, leave me a comment below if I've missed anything, and let me know if I got anything wrong as well. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to do more of these, give this video a thumbs up because Aladdin's coming out next month and I love to do an Aladdin one. So we're going to keep trying to do these tricky trailers episodes and see what goes on. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter too. You can hit me up on there and give me feedback as well. Like I said, subscribe to my channel to check out other content. If you ring that bell, you'll get notified when I post content. And also don't forget to leave me comments below about what you liked and what you didn't like about Endgame. And if you're going to put a spoiler, that's fine, but tag it with a spoiler just so you don't spoil it for anyone else. It has been out for almost a week now, but hey, let's just be nice because it is really one of those movies that it's better if you don't spoil it because you don't know what's going to happen, and it does swerve where you don't think it's going to. At least that's my takeaway from the movie. But yeah, like I say all the time, until next time, have a really magical day.